say, okay, what have we got here? Is this a fashion company doing digital media well, or a digital media company that happens to do fashion? I don't know where they're going to go because they are seriously moving very, very aggressively into the digital media space. I would say most forward-thinking luxury brand that I've seen.
So I'll talk a little bit about two different brands that are, one of them is a brand in making and the other is something we all remember. How many people remember the Old Spice commercial? So I think the best marketing in social media actually creates memes which get replicated and imitated. And they were probably, I don't know, I think First Round Capital did a meme on that, and they had their end of the year video with Old Spice towels. I think at Caboodle we had a whole bunch of people go out in the shower and film a whole Old Spice response. And more recently it's Gangnam Style, right? It's sort of like the horse dance which has taken over. And I don't know how many memes of the horse dance that have been created.
Hello, hello. Hey back there. Okay, so we're going to ask a few hard questions, so you want to listen. Hello? Oh, okay, so Ligaya, right? I am absolutely going to style tag your shoes. So, I wanted to ask a couple questions. I've been listening attentively and having evil thoughts. So you're talking to the guy about Pinterest, and Pinterest versus Twitter. It's definitely richer graphically. But Zappos Labs just did some research, right? And they found that yes, when you buy fabulous shoes, you're 8 times as likely to put them on Pinterest as to tweet about that purchase. But, and this is a huge, huge but, and part of why I was concerned when you said you weren't tracking all the way through. When they track all the way through, they find that the Pinterest pin is worth 75 cents. And the tweet is worth, anybody have a guess? How much is a tweet worth? You bought some awesome shoes, they're so beautiful, and all your friends want them, even people you don't know. $30. $30, okay? So, fashion and everything in consumption, and I'm saying this as e-commerce analytics former CTO and product manager retrainer, game-based retraining at eBay, it's completely counterintuitive. You have to learn. So I love what you were saying, Shannon, about being like so analytics intensive, right? Okay. But I have to ask, eBay just bought Punch, okay, with incredible MIT Uber geeks. A whole bunch of them, incredible algorithms. So, we know with startups in San Francisco, where you start and where you end is never the same place. So I wanted to ask all of you, actually, in terms of threats, right? You're always looking at that, you're scanning. I've done 5 successful startups, I know exactly where you are. Okay. What kind of movement, what kind of movement are you planning ahead for? Where do you think, if you get under a lot of pressure in your core business model, where can you go? What are you looking at?
2.5 weeks in.
2.5 weeks in. That's 1.5 weeks too late to be thinking about that. Come on.
So let's see, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, I'm already thinking of my next pivot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think looking at what we're doing, we have, as I think about, where could the business go if we're not successful in building a good membership base and being successful in the pre-order. We certainly have a platform that we can use from a business-to-business context of them helping brands promote and build themselves. So that's certainly one area that we could focus on. I think there's risks for us is, this is an untapped opportunity. Not many people are doing pre-order online. That doesn't mean there aren't many people who are capable of doing pre-order online, from the brands themselves to Net-a-Porter or Shopbot. So again, I think as we look at that, there's an opportunity. I think a lot of the brands will want to have their own collections online, their own control. So then we're building a platform that can be used potentially not just by us, but also by other players, that we can help them launch their own pre-order businesses and bring their own collections online to their own membership bases. So, it's interesting when you're playing in the consumer space, there's always a business interest that you can always tap into as well. So always got to keep the eyes open for where you need to go next.
I think for us, we're fundamentally focused on building an experience that's centered around the user, and I think that that's kind of our guiding star at any point. So that's what we're committed to. That's where we'll continue to focus is understanding what our users are doing and engaging with them. I think if push came to shove, certainly those things that Keiron mentioned, those are all things that are open to everybody else and would be things to explore. But I think core business is to focus on the user and making sure they have a great experience and making it really meaningful for them.
Well said, Shannon. I think my experience, and I've been in several startups, is that the biggest threat comes from within, not without. It really comes from either becoming too relaxed about your product or not understanding, where your users are going. And really, if you can figure out where your users are going, that's where you should follow. Typically, trying to imitate what's happening outside is usually a recipe for disaster. There are many big cases, including Yahoo trying to do search and Google trying to be social, which have been interesting recently. So I think you've got to look inside and constantly keep looking inside and build a culture where you can kind of have a culture of creative destruction, where you're constantly destroying what you create to create something new.
I definitely have to agree there in that we're completely committed to building a product that people want to use. It's really easy and seamless for people to use. I think it's a bit of a challenge understanding when you build something in a vacuum initially before you have a user base, if you're building something that people actually want. So it's been a wonderful discovery process for us to get to know our users better, to do little focus groups, to get feedback from both the buyer and seller community. I think that's a challenge for us. Identifying the balance between supply and demand and making sure that the people that buy the products online have merchandise that appeals to them. So I think it's a matter of being able to market. For us, some people love to sell on Threadflip. They might not necessarily be the people that want to buy resale goods. And so basically identifying those target demographics and making sure that our marketing speaks to them.